Okay, so I am joined by the fantastic Rob Felicetti from Bowling for Soup. Now, first of all, mate, how you doing? And I love the fact that you've found time in the midst of your chores and you're in your car. How's
Yeah,
things, man?
things are great. We've just been very busy, so I'm kind of just like catching up right now in between things. Like we just came back from Warped Tour in Orlando, and like yesterday or 2 days ago, and before that was 2 days at Epcot where we had to play 3 shows a day, and we kind of toured right into that. It was great. I mean, it was awesome, but it's just a lot. It's been very busy, and now I have a couple days to catch up, and then flying to Vegas on Friday. I think we're gonna do the Punk Rock Museum, and then we have a festival to play there, like Neon City Festival, and just continuous things.
So no rest for Bowling for Soup, but like playing at
No,
Epcot Center. Do you know I'm gonna have to fly myself out to America and come to a show there. I just remember being a kid and loving that place. So.
me too.
Now, some of the things I want to chat to you about today is the recent song that you've put out, which is a reimagining of was it Endless Possibilities, the Sonic the Hedgehog song.
Yeah,
But you've actually done it with the Punk Rock Factory and Wheatus, which ties in nicely to your biggest show coming up in the UK at Wembley. Now, first of all,
yeah,
how does it feel to actually see that Wembley
it's
next to
pretty
your
wild.
name?
So it's funny because we've known about it um for like I mean almost a year. Basically, if you look at it, if you look at the last tour we did in the UK in February, you notice there wasn't a London date there. We
Yes.
did all the other major markets, and we weren't supposed to. We were actually supposed to do smaller markets for that tour, but then it ended up turning into like doing arenas and stuff, like Nottingham, and like, we did our biggest show ever in Manchester. We were doing all these like crazy spots that like places we'd never done before, and at that point, I remember our agent was just like, "Hey, we could do Wembley." And our management and everybody were like, "We could do that. Let's just sort of like space it and let's make this happen at the end of the year and make it an event." And we're like, if we can do that, let's do whatever we have to do to make it happen. And then pretty much it just seemed like something that was eventually going to happen. We're like, because it was on the books, like we had it was booked and everything. We knew at that tour we were doing it. But what I'm trying to say is the entire time we're like, oh my God, we're doing Wembley. And now it's like very real because it's only a couple weeks away.
It is, and it's funny. So I remember watching you at Download Festival of all places, and that's where you first announced that you were going to be coming on tour with Wheatus, and you'll be bringing it to the UK. So this is a big one. But sort of going back to the song, the Sonic the Hedgehog song, what made you guys decide to do this video or this song reimagined with Wheatus and Punk Rock Factory? Because I'm kind of excited that you're all going to be on the same stage. So I'm kind of expecting something now. I'm not going to lie.
I'm excited we're all gonna be on the same stage too. It's actually been our first time like properly playing like with Punk Rock Factory. They've always come to hang out with us at our shows when we've been there. We've known those guys a really long time. We keep in touch. We're friends. Pretty sure we've done a festival bill together, but we've never really done like a proper show together. So that's exciting. We've done plenty of stuff with Wheatus. Um, and that makes it even more fun because we're so close with those dudes. We've done the US with them, the UK with them, festivals. Even before my time in the band, they were touring together. So um as far as the song goes, the endless possibilities, to be completely honest, on my part, all I didn't know any of it was happening until Jarrett was like, "Hey, I need you to get in your studio and record some harmonies to a thing we're doing." I was like, "I don't even know what it was." He sent it to me, and I went, "Oh, this is the Sonic song, Endless Possibilities," and Punk Rock Factory's playing it, like they're playing the track, and Jarrett's singing it, and he wanted me to sing the harmonies and stuff. And I was like, oh, I didn't know until I opened up the session that that's what we were doing. And he was like, and film yourself doing it because we're gonna do a video. So I was like, all right, I can do that. I kind of just had to like. It's funny because I didn't know how much time to set aside for it too, so I had to kind of like cram it into like a couple hours between the craziness, between their travel schedule, the little bit of time I'm home, splitting that up with actually seeing my family and all that, and then I kind of just went in there and did it, and before I even knew it, they were already sending back like a mix, and they're like, "Hey, it's done." And I was like, "This came out awesome." I didn't even know when I first listened through that Brendan was going to be on there shredding that solo. it's kind of funny in this day and age that that's how these things kind of happen when they come out quick. Like you can just send it to each other so fast, and things can just get done so quickly instead of like we all have to find time and fly to this place and get in a studio. Like we all have studios in our homes, you know, so we just kind of put it up that way. And by the time I realized what I was doing, it was done, and I was like, wow, this is awesome.
See, what was funny about the video, I was watching it, and it gave me a bit of PTSD. I was like, this reminds me of COVID times. Everyone's just in their homes, like so. But no, it was a cool video. I kind of enjoyed that style, if I'm honest. Now, I do want to go back to playing Wembley because again, this really does feel like a big one for Bowling for Soup. Um, and I kind of want to dive a little bit into the journey to Wembley, as it were, from when Bowling for Soup kind of first became the band that they are. So when you think back to when the band started or when you joined the band, did you ever actually think this is going to be the sort of level we'll be playing at?
No, actually, I don't think any of us thought that. And then, when I joined the band, we were doing, which is great. We've been doing this for a long time. We were doing like the kind of like the O2 Academy circuit throughout the UK. And then like that was like my first overseas tour with them as we were doing those those big club level shows, which is awesome. Like that's like a thing in and of itself. To be able to accomplish that is already crazy. And then like the next time back, it started to grow because it was kind of there for a while, which is a great place to be. And that's kind of where it sat for a long time. And then we started just getting more active and saying yes to more things and doing more festivals and creating more content, I guess to say, like Jarrett being more active on social media and us just being a more busy band. I think just like lent itself to that, where we started seeing that like the next time we came around, we're doing a little bit bigger venues, different places we'd never done. These like sort of like bigger, like I don't know what they're called there, but just sort of bigger auditorium style venues and stuff. And it's just
Proper
growing a little bit.
theatres.
Yeah, and at one point I remember we headlined Brixton, and I think it was their first time headlining there when we had Simple Plan supporting with us, and we were just like, wow, like that was the thing in and of itself. Like, wow, we're headlining Brixton Academy, because at that point before then had done, I think, Hammersmith, which is a huge place and is awesome. Um, what's the other one there? The Forum, is that in London? Yeah.
Yeah, London Forum,
Okay.
Camden.
Yeah. Sorry,
So
I
you're
get.
naming venues that I'm there going, oh, they know my locals.
Oh yeah. Hey, we've been there plenty of times to London. So, um, but yeah, Wembley was never even on the map for us. I mean, that was just like a like maybe we could do that someday. Who knows? Like, well, the band had been there once supporting Steel Panther, and that was like kind of almost in like a weird transition part where I was starting to play with them and kind of like didn't do everything yet, and I already started filling in a little bit at that time, but I wasn't there for that. So they were like, oh wow, they checked off the box, played Wembley. Then it was like, forget about it, let's do our thing, and then it turned into wow, we can actually headline this place and we have a chance at like really filling it out, which is wild.
Well, you'll definitely fill it out. I mean, I've seen you both at Brixton, at Download, at Hammersmith, and one of the things that is best that I enjoy most about you guys is you don't just play the show; you put on proper entertainment. I think what was it? You gave away, was it? Did you give away a guitar at one point? You had a bar on stage with the Dolly Rots, and I was just
Oh
sat
yeah.
there just going, I want to be at that bar. That's
Yeah.
you know, I mean, like it was literally hanging out. It was fantastic. Now,
So
I
that's
do
kind
want
of
to
our
ask. Sorry.
yeah. I was just gonna say that's kind of our thing is making it fun. And a lot of bands, which is great that they do it, a lot of bands are more focused on it's almost like doing like and I don't mean this in a negative way at all. I actually mean this in a positive way because it's impressive to see a lot of bands kind of put on almost like a play. It's like a performance. They're hitting certain beats at the right time and they've got things synced up with their production and they're playing to these like kind of like having tracks, which is nothing wrong with that. It's just part of the show. And if that's their flow and they've got it like set like that, like a performance. Ours has always been let's see what we do next kind of show. Like we don't, I mean, we will plan things out and stuff. Well, we will have production cues on a level like that. We have before, but it's a little bit more off the cuff. And that's what makes it the fun show that it is, because it wouldn't really be us if we didn't do it that way. It wouldn't seem like a Bowling for Soup show if we did it the way other bands, some other bands do. We're not saying we're the only band that does it this way, but we're proud that we do it this way because it works for us and it was what makes our show.
Well, the way you do it, it definitely shows that punk rock is still live and wild and a little bit, you know, off the cuff, as it were. You know, anything can happen, and that's one of the best parts.
It's fun to do it
Now,
at that level.
yeah, well, exactly. And now it's exciting for, to think Wembley's coming. Now, I want to ask as well, because, the road to Wembley, it's always been considered this is something major for a lot of bands. Was there a particular sort of event or tour or moment in your career for you personally that sort of went, wow, stages like Wembley they're there, it's happening? I think you've covered this actually through like just general chat, but
Well, kind of, yeah. I mean, I will say it's sort of really fast though. Like the last couple of years specifically, it just happened. Like everything grew so quick that you don't even realize it's happening. You're in this band that's doing great and doing these awesome things and getting invited and offers to play these awesome festivals. And we were part of the whole Warp Tour resurgence this year, which is great because that was a big part of us for back in the touring days of it, and a big part of my touring career before I was even in Bowling for Soup. I did plenty of Warp Tours. So um anyway, doing things like that, doing Download, was that 2024 or 23? The last one it was 24.
I think it was
Yeah.
24. So
Yes. So just doing that, I mean, walking out onto that stage and seeing that everybody showed up in the middle of the day on a Sunday for us, like everyone was there, was kind of one of those. I if I had to give a direct answer, I'll say for me, Download was the time when I was like, wow, this Wembley thing's gonna work, because we had already like put it out there. I think at that point, is that before we came? Yeah, man, I'm trying to wrap my head around this. It was, yes, we did that, and then we came with Wheatus, and we did the tour in February with them.
yeah,
Okay, got it.
yeah.
I don't think
So
we
you're
had put it
making
out
me
there yet.
think.
I know. We hadn't put it out there yet that we were doing Wembley. I think at that time we knew we were doing it, but that was already a year and a half before it happened. And I think that was just part of the plan. And I remember walking out on the stage at Download was when I was like, I think we can do this. That's the moment. There's your answer.
Now, in all the time that, Bowling for Soup has existed and you've been in the band and everything, music's massively changed how we consume it. And I'm always fascinated to know what different people think about this because, I'm in my 40s and I'm very gutted that my local record shop doesn't really exist anymore. How do you feel how we consume music has evolved? And do you think it's for the better or for the worse? Because I'm always fascinated by people's thoughts on this.
Well, it's fun. I have two completely opposing thoughts on it that are
Ooh,
completely contradictory of each other.
I
Because
can't
one of
wait.
them is one thought is as an artist, and the other thought is as a consumer, right? So like record shops now, again, yeah, the place I used to go when I was a kid, a teenager, and get music, it's not there anymore. It's in a strip mall, and that place is like a Subway now or something.
Yeah.
Uh, so like record stores that exist now are kind of like they're basically like antique shops. You're buying a collector's item that's hard to find, and it's priced based on how hard it is to find and how how old it is, what condition it's in. That's kind of what records are now, which is cool. I think that's pretty neat that's something that kind of went away as far as the way you listen to music. Some people still do, but for a lot of people, it's a collector's item, which is cool. Um, I don't miss the days of driving in a car and changing out a cassette or a CD, or like having the book of CDs and then you're driving at 80 miles an hour on the highway, um, and changing CDs and you're tied into that. I do appreciate the convenience of just driving and saying, "Hey Siri, play this," or shuffle through it. At any given moment, I can find any song I've ever wanted to listen to within seconds. As a consumer, that's appealing. But it also takes away the appreciation for certain things if you get to just listen to it whenever you want. If you had to like wait for it, I have to go home and put on this record and listen through it and get to that part. That's cool if it's a song you really like. There's something missing about that. And as an artist, obviously, um it's just like there's record sales used to be a metric of how you were doing, how your career was going, and now it's streaming and stream numbers. So there's still something that correlates, but streaming numbers could just mean it's just coming out on a playlist and people didn't intentionally put it on. Where like a record sale, someone bought that record because they wanted your stuff. So like there's something missing there. I think it's a complete even pro and con on both sides. You're missing like this old school thing about it, which came with its inconveniences, right? And then then you're missing the at any given moment you can hear the song if you want. So it may be why we have these crazy streaming numbers, because at any given moment anyone can go, hey, I want to listen to this song, and they just put it on.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I mean, one of the things I always find fascinating about it is no matter who you are as an artist now, it is easy to get your music out to people, which I think is an amazing thing. But I think like
It
you,
makes it harder to be heard, though.
yeah, exactly. It swings and roundabouts,
Yeah,
if I'm
kind
honest.
of always has, though, because you think about it, back in the day, to be heard, you had to like get in a van and drive to Portland, Maine, and play for people to be heard. Now you can just be like target it in that direction on Instagram or whatever.
That's
And be like,
true.
hey, check out our new music on Apple. It's equally as hard, but in a different way. Just like everything, though. I mean, every industry has evolved in a certain way where it's easier for the consumer, but it makes it harder for the consumer because they're flooded with so many more options and so many more ways to get it.
Right. Well, I've only got two more questions for you, if that's okay.
Yeah,
Both kind of fun. I think they're going to be fun. Hopefully
I
you
like
will as
fun.
well. So, the first one, and this is about the band, and it's an important one. If Bowling for Soup were in the midst of a zombie apocalypse, who would survive the longest? And what's your personal survival strategy?
Uh, I'm gonna go with Gary would survive the longest because he's the one that's stuck with the Walking Dead longer than any of us. Like I couldn't do it after a while. Um, and he's very clever. Not that Jarrett's not, but uh, I think I'm gonna go with Gary. Gary's the answer. My personal survival tactic, is that what you're asking?
Yeah,
Um, lay low, man. Right? With zombies, you can't be loud. It's a horrifying thought, especially around Christmas time.
you get a festive
But
zombie.
um, right? Isn't it always like lay low, keep the lights off,
Pretty
make
much.
sure you're not causing a ruckus?
You're going for a
Tread
very
lightly.
sensible approach, sir.
That would be my approach. I would
Yeah.
carry as many guns with me as I could just in case. But
See, in America, you guys can do that. What have we got? We've got like, well, we'll get the bread knife. It'll be fine.
yeah,
So,
it's close combat, right? You gotta.
exactly. And zombies, I don't know if I want to be in close combat with. I want to be as far away as possible.
That's the advantage of the firearm in a zombie scenario.
Exactly. So, the next thing I wanted to chat to you about, one of the things I enjoy most about you guys on stage is the jokes you tell. And I was wondering if you're willing to do a bit of a joke off with me.
Sure. I'm terrible at them on the spot. Honestly, when we do those, are you referring to the point in the set where we just stop and we each tell a joke and people vote?
Yep.
Oh, I won't lie. I like plan those out way ahead of time. But hey, I'll still try this with you. I'll fumble
Cool.
and it's fine. But hey, I'm up
Uh,
for a challenge.
let's see how it goes. So I'll start off with one if that's all right. So I recently started a business selling trampolines, but it has got a gimmick. They're designed as prayer mats. You won't believe it though. Profits are through the roof.
Yeah. Got some. All right. I like it.
It's
I like a good
terrible, I know,
dad joke.
but
Yeah, that's great. All right, my turn.
your turn.
All right. Uh, so I'm trying to remember how this one goes. I think I got it. Okay, I'll never forget the time, at the hospital. I ran into the room and I was going, "Oh my God, guys, it's a boy. It's a boy." And I was just like freaking out, and that's the last time I went to Thailand.
Okay, I dig that one. I like that one. Let me think. What one have I got? Well, this is more a statement, but I'll see if it works for you. Very important. Is butt crack one word, or should you spread them apart?
very punny today. I like it.
I know. Sorry, I've got like I couldn't help it. Maybe I'm influencing you for the show. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen, right? We don't.
Exactly. Have you got one more for me?
I can. I'll dig out an old classic I
Let's
used to
do
do.
it.
All right. So a fella and his friend who's a giraffe, they go into a pub and they start drinking a bunch as you do, and the giraffe has way too many. He does too many shots in a row, and he just falls on the ground like he just can't even. He's out. He's blacked out. Falls on the ground, and the guy's like, "All right, I'm gonna get out of here." And he starts walking out the door like I'm done. And the bartender goes, "Hey, buddy, you just gonna leave the lion over there?" He goes, "Hey, he's not a lion. He's a giraffe. You just gonna leave that lion there? That's what it is."
Yeah. I love
All
the
right.
pun.
Yep.
Right, I've got one more for you before I let you go because I know you're going to be busy today, if that's all right. And
Sure.
this is the one that probably means I'm never going to be allowed in your country again. So, you know your American president, Mr. Trump, he's signing all kinds of executive orders. It's kind of scary how many he's actually getting out there. The one I heard about today, though, is absolutely incredible. He's signing an executive order tomorrow to outlaw shredded cheese. Can you believe that? He wants to make America great again.
Hey, I like it.
I love it, but now I am probably not going to be allowed in. Like,
Why not?
I'll get stopped at the border, and
No
maybe
way.
maybe he's
You know,
got a sense of humor for that one.
no, if they don't let you in, you just go, "Hey, come on, man. Your First Amendment, freedom of speech. You can say whatever the fuck you want."
I could try that, and they'll be like, "Yeah, you got the freedom of speech back in the UK." So I'll be America's least wanted.
Eh, I'll let you in. I'll bring you through the back door.
Sounds like a plan. Rob, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out to chat to me today, tell me a couple of jokes,
You got
share
it.
the history of bowling for soup and your journey towards Wembley. I cannot wait for the show. I will see you on the 13th of December, my friend.
How about
That'll
one
be me
more?
just going, I'm here.
How about one more?
One more guess. Do it, please.
What do you get when you cross um the Atlantic Ocean with the Titanic? A little more than halfway.
You had to get it
Anyway,
in. Rob, thank you so much, my friend.
yep.
See you in a couple of weeks.
See you there.
Rock and roll. Take care, man. Bye.
Thanks, buddy. Good to see you.
You too. Bye.
Have a good one.